I need to take better care of my books. My books hate me so much right now. Oh my god, I'd be throwing them bitches everywhere. Okay. Sorry, Twilight. I'm sorry I threw you on the floor. Please forgive me. Okay. Seriously, this is a whole mess. There's books everywhere. I need to hang up my shelves. Like, this is actually, like, giving me so much anxiety right now. Anywho's. Let me stack them all prettily so people can see them. Oh man, they're all fucked up. All these are so fucked up looking. I am terrible to these books. I haven't sat in this chair and done one of these in a hot minute, so I figured it's time. And so that's what we're doing today. I will say there might be some book repeats from the last video I did, because I cannot remember if I did that. I think I posted that at the beginning of 2024. Well, no. Yeah, I think I did it at the beginning of 2024, so it encapsulated some of the books that I had read in 2024. So I'm probably going to be talking about a couple of things I've already talked about. But it's fine. It is fine. So, I just have to put it out there. My books are in a fucking mess back here. I have these shelves that I've been supposed to be hanging up. But when supposed to be hanging... I have these shelves that I have been meaning, there you go. I have these shelves that I have been meaning to hang up and put my books on for 2 years now. Why don't I have my life together? You may ask this. I don't have the answer. I wish I could get shit done. I get so much done, but not the things that I need to. I think that's what I'm going to do while I have a break off of work, because the reason why I have a makeup look and I said I'm going to film a video today is because I took a couple days off of work. I just started a new job. I'm a banker. And I was like, okay, well now here's your opportunity to do everything that you've been needing to do in the span of 2 or 3 or 4 days. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to start off with Allie Hazelwood because I just have to. I think I mentioned her in my last video. I've read almost every single one of her books. I read these 3. I've read Below Zero. It's like that book that's got like 3 novellas in it. I read those ones and I loved it so freaking much. I just love the way that she writes. It's like a Wattpad but like adult, and I just love the way she writes. I love the stories. I don't care if they're fucking repeats of the same story over and over again. I eat it up every single time. But last year, this book is so fucked up. It's because I fell into my couch and I lost it, and I had sat on it probably a couple times. Okay, last year I went down to South Carolina for my boyfriend's sister's wedding. And if you don't know anything about what happened in South Carolina, well, there was a bunch of flooding and terrible shit happened and we got trapped in a mountain. That is for another day though. On the way down there, it was about a total of 9 hours to get down there. I finished this entire book, Bride by Allie Hazelwood. This is one of the first books that she's written in like fantasy realm. I think this is her first book she's written as a fantasy book. And she's been hinting at a book like this her entire book career. Every single one of her books talks about, a vampire werewolf or vampires and werewolves and like romance, and how the characters in her book would love to write one or would love to just like those kinds of things. And so she's like basically she was basically telling us the whole time she wanted to write a fucking vampire werewolf book, and she did. And it was really good. Now, there are a couple parts where, like nodding. If you know, you know. That was freaking weird. But I don't care. I ate this shit up. No fucking... If you haven't read this book already, it's basically about a girl who's a vampire. And her dad's terrible. As they are. And her dad's in like power, and in order to form an alliance, he gives her away to this werewolf dude, and who is like the head of the werewolf clan, I guess. And so they're forced to get married, and it's a crazy bunch of stuff happens, forced proximity, enemies to lovers type shit, and I ate it up. I ate it up, read the entire thing in that car ride. I read the entire book in the car. It was awesome. Even my boyfriend's mom, who doesn't know what this book's about, she just saw me reading it the whole time, and she was like, I can't believe you finished that book on the way down. That's crazy. So yeah. horny smut book, but it's really good. So there you go. There's that. Oh, and it's on the floor. Sweet, sweet. Okay, just because it's next to me. I read Twilight this last year. It was okay. You know, I've been meaning to read it because I read this first book, or part of this first book, when I was young. Probably way too young to be reading it. But when I was young, I read the first book, and I wasn't much of a reader back then, so I didn't finish it and never picked it back up again. So for the sake of younger me, I wanted to read this one. I read the second one, and I think I'm on the third one. I just haven't read it yet. I don't have the book, and I haven't gotten the audiobook because I haven't been reading other things. But it was okay. You know, I'm going to say this, and this is probably because I've watched the movies more and got to watch them first. The movies are better, in my personal opinion. Now, don't come at me. I don't have the same form of attachment to the book as some of you guys do, because I just watched the movies first, and then I read this. So I think that it was good. Some of the characters lacked depth, I guess. But it was good. I don't know if I'd read it again. Maybe I will. We'll see. I'm going to keep the book, so we'll see. I got this at a book library, like a little, like, on the side of the road book library for free. I just traded one of my other books for it, so sweet. Okay. Sorry. You guys know how much of a fan of S.J. Maas I am. She's my all-time favorite author. 2 years ago, I read all of 2 or 3 years ago, actually, it might have been 3 years ago. Read all of ACOTAR, read all of Throne of Glass, and I have been meaning to read Crescent City. I finished this book last year, and I loved it. I loved the entire story. It was super, super good. Now, I had a little bit of a hiatus in starting the second book. And I started it probably 4 months ago. I have yet to finish it. Because I keep taking breaks from it because there's other things I want to read. It's taking me forever to read. Okay. I love Sarah J. Maas. I'm putting this out here. She's my favorite author. So this is not hate. But I've also heard other people having the same experience with this book series. Too many characters, too much going on. And the story's dragged out for the second book. I haven't even got to the third book. The third book I've heard is worse. So, which is really cool and really making me very excited to finish the series. But I think, so far, like I was starting to get into it when I was last reading it, but then my friend wanted to read Onyx Storm, which is Fourth Wing. Of course we're going to read that. So that's what I'm reading right now. I'm about to finish that up, actually. But the characters, like, there's just too much going on, too many plots to follow, and I'm just not the kind of reader that can absorb all that. Like, even Onyx Storm and Fourth Wing is a little, like, I love those books, and I think that's just enough chaos for my brain to be able to pick up on what's going on. Now, when they're following, first of all, the POV is weird because it's not I think it's first point of view. Like, all the characters are third point of view, which is like everybody is getting their mind spoke, like you're hearing everybody's thoughts while they're having conversations, and it's just a lot for my brain to like consume. I'm not saying the story isn't good. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I have a feeling that it won't be my favorite, which sucks because I was so excited to read this one because the first book was so good, and when this first book came out, people were obsessed with it, so I was so excited to read it. And then I heard things about the last book, and even the book I'm on, and I am not as excited, but it's fine. I'm going to push through, and after I finish Onyx Storm, I might just try to quickly read the second book so I can read this one. Oh my god. That's another thing. They're so fucking long, so that's what part of the reason why the story feels dragged out. Like, it's so long. So, we'll see how it goes. I might try some audiobook, like listening into it and reading it. We'll see though. Okay. Alright, this is not the book I read. I gave away I lended Brutal Prince to my friend, but here's the second book, Stolen Heir. You can tell it was a Christmas gift, and their dog ate part of it before gifting it to me, which is fine. It's just very damaged looking. I haven't yet to read this book, but I read Brutal Prince, and I loved it. It's like gangster mafia romance, and it was fun. And I just love it. I think that's my thing is that I started off reading fantasy, and which I love fantasy. I will always love fantasy because it's just an escapism. But this last year, I don't know if it's just my brain or what's been going on like mentally, but my brain can't like not comprehend, but it can't like sit down and like focus on a big story. I need just simple and kind of dumbed down, to be honest. Like I read it like that, not that Allie Hazelwood is dumbed down by any means, but like a silly, chill romance, because my anxiety and the way that I'm functioning right now already is so high that like when I add like crazy stories about people riding dragons and like people fighting in a war, I'm like, whoo, I'm starting to feel it. But I didn't say that, and that doesn't mean I didn't read fantasy books and didn't enjoy them this year. I just been reading a lot more, and I've been more interested in like romances. Here, though, I don't have the slip cover. It's at my parents' house, and this book is unfortunately seeing the repercussions of that. It's got like dirt stains on it, and I don't even know how. It's been sitting on my shelf. It's Bloodguard. Now, look how beautiful this book is, you guys. Let me open it up for you. So beautiful. I was going through a really, really, really rough time when I was reading this book. Like, really rough. And I literally could not put it down. It's about it's Bloodguard by C.C. Robson. It's one of those books we got on my friend Ashley and I got on Amazon for like a pre-order. It was a pre-order book. And we didn't know anything about it. We just thought it said it looked beautiful, which it does. And we pre-ordered it. I ordered it. It's basically about a gladiator and like a battle and stuff and a princess, and it is just so good. And I think they're making another book in the series. I hope they do, because it was just so good. And it's not like a very well-known book, which is funny because like it was on Amazon's pre-orders. But if you take anything from this video, read Bloodguard by C.C. Robson, because it was so amazing. Okay, so a lot of my books I have lended to people, which is part of the reason probably why they don't look the greatest, but mainly my fault because they just sit on this bookshelf and they fall. This is a project I'm promising you I'm dealing with. Literally, I'm going to do it this weekend. I have to. Or maybe today I'll rearrange my books at least, and then when Sean gets home, my boyfriend Sean, maybe we'll hang my shelves up and get that out of the way, because I didn't realize how bad it was until like I was digging around in there trying to find books for this video, and I was like, holy fucking shit, girl. Your books, what you prize yourself on, like you spend money on, they are taking a hit. So anywhoozles, I'm pulling up screenshots from my Goodreads. I'm gonna put a little video here of all the books I read in 2024. I'm gonna do like a time lapse, so take a look at that while I my screenshots. Okay, the time-lapse video should be done now. Okay, so one book I would like to talk about is Next to Kin by Hannah Bonin Young. You can't really tell my phone screen. I'll put a clip up. This book, I don't know if it was actually good or if it was the context of what was around me, but I was working at Big Boy for a little while before I started the job I'm at now as a server, and one of my coworkers, who's one of my good friends, Summer, she gave me this book for me to read while I was going up north. I had forgotten my books when my friend and I were heading up north, but my friend Summer was like, here, you can just use mine. So this book, Next to Kin, was one of the books she gave me to read while I was up there. And it's basically about a girl who gets adoptive rights of her sister, her little baby sister, and she has to raise her, and she gets put in this program where this guy also has rights of his brother, and they are basically they're given the opportunity to live together to save each other money and like help each other take care of the kids. It's kind of enemies slurs, but not really, because they're not really that enemies, but they just don't really like each other at first. But the reason why I feel like I have such a connection to this story is because when we were heading up north, I was reading it a little bit, but one of the days we were up in the UP, we went to this place called Hunter's Point, which is up in Copper Harbor, one of the most prettiest places in the world to me. And we set up a little fire on the beach, and my friend Sid went and rock hunt, and I opened this book and I devoured pretty much almost all of it on that beach while we were sitting there in the fire. And there was a sunset going down and the lake was making water noises, and it was just probably one of the most like calming and surreal place like times in my life. And so that's probably why I have that connection to that book and why I liked it. I don't know if I'll ever read it again. Maybe I will, just to like feel that happiness once again in my life. We'll see. But I rated it 5 stars because I think it was the experience. I also think the writing was good. It was an interesting book. It was just like cutesy little dumb romance, but I felt like a deep connection to it because of the circumstance, I think. Let me see what else I have read. Okay, Dawn of Ox and Promise of Peridot. It's a whole series. It's called the Sacred Stone series by Kate Golden. And I loved that book. It felt like what ACOTAR felt like at first. It really just reminded me a lot of that series. And I have not yet to finish it. I'm like 2 or 3 books behind. That's another thing. I need to catch up on my series. And that means I also have to reread a lot of it because I don't remember anything that I've ever read. But those ones were good. Let me think of what happened in that series, because I remember reading it though and thinking, oh, this is like ACOTAR, and I liked it. A girl, she's in a town, people are trying to kill her, so she runs off, and then she ends up in this king's like castle as a prisoner, and then they end up fighting a war together. Like, I don't know, girl. Read the book. It's good. It's fantasy. It's like fae, that kind of stuff. It's ACOTAR, pretty much. That was good. Okay, The Summer I Turned Pretty. Now, I know it's a young adult book. I need to take a sip of my Coke. Okay. Oopsie. I know it's not a young adult book, but here I am again. I love my cutesy little romance books, and I also watched the show after, and I liked the book a lot more than the show, and it was the first time I truly ever experienced like, wow, the book really describes and does a lot more than the show did. The show was good, but I feel like there was a lot of lacking like parts, and I am glad that I read the books first because I just felt like I really liked the whole story, and it was cute. And I don't know if I'd watch it or read it again, but I might watch the show again, especially because the new season's going to come out. Super cute. Really liked it. Makes me want to be in a place that's warm and away from the snow. Because if you can't tell, we're in winter time right now. And I really think I'm going to go crazy if I have to be cold for another couple weeks. I know there's only 6 weeks left, but like I just need to go to a beach and see the ocean or see the lake and just like literally stare into nothingness and disassociate for like 6 hours. That would probably solve a lot of my problems, I think. But anyways, that book made me feel good because it makes me want to go. It like made me feel like I was going to a beach house and enjoy my warm weather and whatever. So that was awesome. I liked that. And the show was pretty good. Again, waiting for the new season to come out. And again, the book was better than the show. Let's see. I feel like a lot of these I've had talked about, but nothing else is sticking out to me. Oh, okay. I have to mention some Coho before we end this video. Okay, I read Verity and I read Layla. Verity, I'm telling you, like, people hate on Coho, Colleen Hoover. I'll say her full name. People hate on Colleen Hoover. She has a place in reading to me. And she is the kind of author that I like to read in between really serious, really like heavy books. So like if I were like after Crescent City, I'm probably gonna need to read a Coho book or something of the sort. And I read Verity this year, and I think that was one of her first books that I was like, damn, I need to read a different Coho book after this because it was fucking serious. And it was like heart racing. I don't have it on me because I think I had given it to my friend to read, but I have Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I have yet to read it. And I'm feeling like this is going to be very similar to Verity. But I did not know what was going to happen next, if I'm being honest. So anybody who thinks that she doesn't have any depth and can't write anything serious, you're fucking wrong, because that book was good. And people will hate on that book and say it was weird and whatever. I don't care. I enjoyed it, and I think that it's one of the first books, like I don't read mystery books. I don't like those books that much because they give me too much anxiety. And I already have, like I said before, I already have enough anxiety. I don't need it to add anymore. But it was good, and I would highly recommend it. And then I read Layla. That one, I had to stop reading for a brief period of time because it triggered me really bad. It was a paranormal romance. There was cheating, but not. Like, at the end, it all comes together, and you're like, oh. But while I was reading it, and there was cheating, I was just getting triggered because, of course, I don't like to read about that kind of shit. But I was like, you know what? My friend had read it with me. She's like, you need to push through. I promise it'll all make sense. And I did. And it was good. I don't think I'd ever read it again. I didn't like really enjoy that one. It was weird to me. And I didn't like thoroughly enjoy it, but it wasn't awful either. So that's all I have to say to you folks. If you took anything out of this, read Bloodguard by Cece Robson. That was probably my top read of last year. And then, you know, some Hallie Hazelwood. I love my girl, Allie. If I could meet her and hang out with her, and then she could use like a little witchy spell and transport me in one of her books, I think that that would be my all-time goal in life. So, yeah. To end this video off, I would love to say, please comment down below your book recommendations. Follow my Goodreads. I would love to be friends on there. And I also want to see what you guys would like to read, and would you like to see me read and review next. I'm thinking at some point, who knows, because I'm not consistent with YouTube. I've been on this platform for like 10 years, and I've never been consistent. I'm consistent on other social medias, or I try to be at least. Right now, I'm not feeling so consistent because I work 40 plus hours a week. So that's kind of a Debbie Downer, if you will. But if you get anything out of this, I would love to be friends on Goodreads, and I'd like to hear book recommendations, and I will try to make more book content where I review more books, or just more content in general, probably good. Currently in the midst of editing a art room cleaning video. We'll see when that comes out. So, anyways, it was good seeing you. I need to figure out my shirt. It's cute. Valentine's Day. You know, that's what day it is. Well, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so we'll see when I get this video out. Anyways, it was good seeing you guys. I hope you had a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye, stinky babies. Oh, bye. Anyways, my feet hurt. Ow, I'm stuck in the chair. Oh, I'm getting old. Probably thinking, oh, it's a book time, and you'd be right about that. Let me start over because I'm awkward as fuck.